Tonight on NewsWatch, losing influence in the Middle East, why some say America is falling behind in the important region.
Plus, lawmakers unveil a bipartisan budget plan, a look at the deal that's being touted as a compromise.
And the shocking story of how some influential Obama administration advisors are tied to the Muslim Brotherhood. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. Good evening. I'm Mark Martin.
And I'm Heather Sells. Is the United States losing its influence in the Middle East? That is the question many of America's allies are asking after the signing of the recent heavily criticized nuclear deal with Iran.
And as Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem, the consequences are already rippling through the region.
After Geneva, many Middle East experts see a stronger Iran, a weaker America, and a region teetering on the brink.
So we in the Middle East, we in Israel, and as I see in the Arab press, because this is my business, to follow Arab press, they are confused and they don't believe anymore in American influence in the region.
For decades, American influence acted like a rudder steering events in the Middle East. Now, many Mideast experts, like former Israeli ambassador to Egypt, Zvi Mazel, believe the region is losing its way.
The Middle East lost its compass. You see, in the old times there used to be the Soviet Union and the United States, but now everyone goes his own direction.
The perception is that America will not be here around for long, and Iran is the coming superpower.
A major change in U.S. Mideast policy is the attempt to turn Iran from an adversary to a friend.
It's not completely friend yet, but I'm saying it's on the way too. I believe this is what President Obama sees, that there will be a dialogue with Iran and there will be relations with America, and Iran will become a good boy, a good student. We don't believe it.
The diplomatic courtship with Iran and the perception of waning U.S. influence have led to shifting and unprecedented alliances in the region. Since many Mideast nations see Iran as an existential threat, the Gulf states are considering uniting for their own self-defense. And both Egypt and Saudi Arabia have reached out to find another ally besides the United States.
There is now a dialogue between Saudi Arabia and Russia. It doesn't happen every day.
Can you believe it? Saudi Arabia. Prince Bandar went twice to Moscow lately.
Pincus, Mazel, and others now see the Middle East with America retreating and Russia advancing.
Putin is really a very happy man. Everywhere where America is going away, he's coming in immediately.
Mazel warns Russia's comeback in the Middle East is just one consequence of U.S. Mideast policy. He also warns if Iran does get a nuclear bomb, it would be the beginning of a Mideast nuclear arms race. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Secretary of State John Kerry is asking lawmakers to refrain from imposing new sanctions on Iran. He met one-on-one with different senators on the issue today. In the agreement reached last month, Iran agreed to stop enriching uranium over the next 6 months. That in exchange for the U.S. not imposing new sanctions during that period. Kerry says any new sanctions could jeopardize efforts to roll back Iran's nuclear program, and that officials need more time to work toward a final agreement that eliminates any possibility of Iran developing nuclear weapons.
Congress has come up with a bipartisan budget deal. It avoids another government shutdown, but as David Brody reports, not everyone thinks it's a good plan.
In Washington nowadays, it seems success on budget talks is defined by Democrats and Republicans just agreeing to something, anything for that matter. And so it was a rare sight to see a top Republican and a top Democrat standing side by side announcing a budget deal.
We are showing that this divided government can work at its basic functioning levels, which is paying the bills.
Here's the framework of that common ground. $63 billion in increased domestic spending. That's because Democrats were able to eliminate half of those sharp sequester cuts that Republicans fought hard for last year. So that's a victory for Democrats. But GOP leaders say it's also good news for Republicans because those sequester cuts were going to hurt military spending. Well, what else do Republicans get? $85 billion in budget cuts, but they're going to happen over time. So, doing the math, that's $85 billion in reduced spending minus $63 billion in increased spending, and it comes to roughly $22 billion in deficit reduction. But the spending increases will start right away. The spending cuts don't. In an interview with CBN News, Senator John Thune says he's taking a wait-and-see approach.
It looks like it would increase spending for a couple of years in exchange for some savings that would be achieved in future years. And I think what's going to be really important for a lot of Republicans is what are those savings and are they meaningful? And is this something that's a good trade-off?
President Obama is praising the deal, and so are House and Senate leaders. All of them say this agreement gives Americans the confidence that there will not be any talk of a government shutdown for 2 years. However, the deal does not address future debates over raising the debt ceiling. But for now, the focus for many conservatives is that they believe Republicans are getting taken to the cleaners yet again. Influential conservative blogger Eric Erickson writes how the deal, quote, does not impact the national debt. It does not reform entitlements. Senator Marco Rubio blasted it too, saying, quote, this budget continues Washington's irresponsible budgeting decisions. And the Tea Party Express called this deal, quote, a baby step backward. Now, conservative budget chairman Paul Ryan is feeling all of this heat, but defending the deal.
This says let's cut spending in a smarter way, some permanent spending cuts to pay for some temporary sequester relief, resulting in net deficit reduction without raising taxes. That's fiscal responsibility. That's fiscal conservatism.
Ryan believes the House will pass this deal, and Patty Murray is confident Democrats will do the same in the Senate. But whatever happens, Republicans like Thune believe under the Obama administration, true, meaningful reform will be hard to come by.
Most of what happens in Washington, it seems like to me at least, is, okay, how can we spend more at the federal level? How can we regulate more? How can we tax more? And that to me is the opposite prescription for what we need to get the economy growing again.
David Brody, CBN News, Washington.
Phil Kerpen is the president of American Commitment, and he joins us now with more. Phil, do you think conservatives are losing with this deal?
Well, it's a disappointing deal, no question about it. The level of spending that was accomplished through the Budget Control Act of 2011, that big fight we had in the summer of 2011 with sequestration, was kind of the one accomplishment conservatives could point to in this administration, and those caps are going to be loosened now. Spending is going to be higher than the levels that were in the current law, so that's a tough pill to swallow. The question is, was this the best deal we could get under the circumstances? And that's a harder one to answer.
All right. Well, many Americans blame Republicans for this year's government shutdown. To avoid more blame, do you think some in the GOP are more eager to accept a deal?
Yeah, I think that that's part of it. I think that the Democrats no longer took as credible the threat of taking it all the way to a shutdown, and that knocked some leverage out. The other issue is that you had a number of Republicans in the House who said they simply would not accept the sequestration level on the defense side, and they would vote with Democrats to stop a clean extension at the current funding levels, and that kind of forced the hands of Paul Ryan and leadership, I think, to come to a deal like the one that we've seen.
House leadership is backing the deal. A vote is expected by the end of the week. Do you think the measure will make it through the House as is?
I think it probably passes. The important thing to watch, though, is will it get the majority of Republicans in the House, or will John Boehner again have to rely mostly on Democratic votes on one of these deals, as he's done in the past, but promise not to do again in the future? And that, I think, is tough. That could go either way.
Okay. Phil Kerpen with American Commitment. Thanks for your insights, Phil.
Anytime.
There's more evidence that Americans still aren't happy with Congress. A new poll from the Associated Press, GFK, finds that only 13% of Americans approve of the job lawmakers are doing, and nearly 2/3 would like to see their House representative replaced. Meanwhile, President Obama's approval is at a low 42%. 56% of Americans don't view the president as honest, and 58% disapprove of the job he is doing as a whole. His handling of issues like the economy, budget deficit, and unemployment are some of the areas of concern.
Pope Francis is Time Magazine's Person of the Year for 2013. The publication says that in just a short time, the new pope has changed the perception of the Catholic Church in an extraordinary way. A Vatican spokesman says Francis is not looking to be famous, but if the choice of Person of the Year helps spread the message of the gospel, a message of God's love for everyone, he will certainly be happy about that. Editors at Time selected Pope Francis over NSA leaker Edward Snowden and U.S. Senator Ted Cruz.
Coming up, how President Obama's health care plan is costing some families big time.
In 2008, my husband Gary departed for heaven. I was still grieving. And then to find out I had cancer, I began praying, God, how do I do this? Where do I do this? Cancer Treatment Centers of America was the place. Dr. Neelam outlined a plan that would take care of my mind and my body, and she prayed with me.
For Bible-believing Christians, we're able to pray with them in a much deeper way as they begin to really rely upon their faith.
At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we believe in the power of faith and prayer as indispensable allies in the fight against complex and advanced stage cancer.
I'm back in Telluride on the mountain skiing. I feel strong and healthy.
Advanced medicine and technology.
And I am a survivor.
The warm embrace of the Spirit and the power of prayer.
These are happy tears.
Please go to cancercenter.com/faith. Appointments available now. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
The president's top health official is calling for an investigation into the failed rollout of healthcare.gov. Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius plans to look into all the factors that may have contributed to the failed launch. This announcement came as Sebelius faced another round of questioning on Capitol Hill. The healthcare.gov website is working better now after 2 months of repairs.
But critics say the focus needs to shift now from the failed website launch to the flawed healthcare law.
Caitlin Burke brings us the story of one family that's seeing those flaws firsthand.
Last month, President Obama offered a fix to people who have lost their insurance coverage because of Obamacare.
We did fumble the ball on it, and what I'm going to do is make sure that we get it fixed.
His solution? Allow people to keep their plans for an extra year. But experts like Ed Heiselmeyer from the Heritage Foundation say the fix is just as flawed as the law itself and will make things worse, not better.
I think it's going to get worse because then you have compounding effects over time as this plays out, likely resulting in higher premiums down the road.
Some families, like this one, say that was already happening even before the president's fix was in. Tyler and his daughter have insurance through work. His wife is covered on a separate policy. That policy was canceled, but then he got the option to keep it, temporarily.
They extended it for another year, so I do get it another year, but the premiums go up if you want to keep on it for another year for like $40.
Faced with those increased premiums, Tyler turned to the healthcare website to see if he could find a better option. But problems with the site kept him from being able to look at any potential plans.
Probably what's more than likely going to end up happening is I'll just put her on my insurance at work, which is going to be several hundreds of dollars more expensive.
Heiselmeyer says many other Americans are going to face that same reality.
When you look at the design of the legislation, it clearly has a number of features that make insurance in general, or at least for a lot of people, more expensive than it is today.
And another round of policy cancellations is on the horizon. A new report by the American Enterprise Institute shows that by 2014, at least half of Americans who get their health plans through work will receive cancellation notices. That's almost 80 million more people above and beyond those who've already received those notices. Tyler says Washington shouldn't be dictating personal health insurance decisions.
I think the thing that frustrates me most about not just me losing my coverage, but about the whole situation in general, is just that idea that the government can come in and say, you know, Tyler, the coverage that you have right now isn't best for your family. We're going to tell you this plan that's good for your family.
Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
In Florida, megachurch founder Isaac Hunter has died. The Orlando Sentinel reports that police are calling his death a suicide. 36-year-old Hunter was the son of Joel Hunter, another megachurch pastor and spiritual advisor to the president. His death marks the second time this year that a prominent pastor's son has taken his life. You may recall that Saddleback pastor Rick Warren lost his son in April. In May, CBN News spoke with Frank Page, the head of the Southern Baptist Convention. Page wrote a book on suicide after his daughter took her life. He's now encouraging the church to more proactively minister to those who are suffering.
There are legitimate, serious issues people struggle with, and the church needs to be the place where we say, we understand.
More than 36,000 people commit suicide each year in the United States.
A nativity display at South Carolina's Shaw Air Force Base was quickly removed after complaints from an atheist organization. Volunteers from the base chapel set up the display near where an annual tree lighting ceremony takes place. But less than 3 hours after the Military Religious Freedom Foundation logged a complaint, the display was removed. An Air Force spokeswoman says officials are trying to determine the proper placement and arrangement of a new display that reflects more than a single group. Good luck.
Up next, he's the senior Homeland Security advisor for our country, but his beliefs on Islam may shock you.
From CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others. All for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry. Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
The United States is an Islamic country. That's at least what one Obama administration advisor says.
He has a senior role on the Homeland Security Advisory Council, and he's been tied to the Muslim Brotherhood.
Eric Stackelbeck brings the story in tonight's Focus Report.
This provocative statement created a firestorm last month because of its contents and the author's government role. I do consider the United States an Islamic country with an Islamically compliant constitution. The tweet by Mohammed El-Biari raised eyebrows thanks to his senior role on the Department of Homeland Security Advisory Council, where he helps craft America's counterterrorism policies. It's a position one analyst says El-Biari is not fit to hold.
He goes to bat for the Muslim Brotherhood. He is passionate that they are the moderate good guys that the U.S. needs to ally with.
Ryan Morrow is a national security analyst for the Clarion Project. He's interviewed El-Biari at length and says the senior Homeland Security advisor staunchly supports the radical Muslim Brotherhood.
He had the symbol that was most closely associated with the Muslim Brotherhood from when the Egyptian military cracked down on them. All the Muslim Brotherhood supporters had a specific sign that they put up on their Twitter and their Facebook pages, and he was right along with them.
El-Biari has praised Muslim Brotherhood icon and al-Qaeda favorite Saeed Qutb and spoke at a 2004 event honoring Iran's Ayatollah Khomeini. In addition, CBN News reported in 2011 that El-Biari stood accused of leaking sensitive government documents to the media. In light of those charges, Texas Congressman Louis Gohmert pressed former Homeland Security Chief Janet Napolitano in a heated exchange.
Are you saying before this Congress right now that as Secretary of Homeland Security that it is a lie that Mohammed El-Biari downloaded material from a classified website using the secret security clearance you gave him? Are you saying that's a lie?
I'm saying that is inaccurate. That is correct. He, as far as I know, did not download classified documents. What bothers me, quite frankly, are the allegations that are made against anyone who happens to be Muslim.
Well, the allegations are not because he is Muslim.
It is still unclear whether any formal investigation of El-Biari actually took place at DHS. What is clear is El-Biari's recent promotion at the department.
In September 2013, he was promoted. So he not only is an official advisor, he's one of the select advisors within that group to influence policy.
El-Biari and the Department of Homeland Security did not respond to CBN's request for comment. El-Biari is not the only Obama administration advisor who's been tied to the Muslim Brotherhood.
There's lots of evidence. The President of the United States personally takes counsel from Mohammed Majid, and that means the enemy is inside the wire.
Majid has reportedly met with President Obama to advise him on immigration and counterterrorism policy. He also sits on a Department of Homeland Security working group on, quote, violent extremism. Yet national security expert Frank Gaffney told CBN News that the organization Majid leads has troublesome ties.
He is the president of the largest Muslim Brotherhood front organization in the United States, the Islamic Society of North America.
In 2007, federal prosecutors named ISNA as an unindicted co-conspirator in the largest terrorism financing trial in American history. The defendants were convicted of funding the terror group Hamas. Majid's group was also mentioned in secret Muslim Brotherhood documents uncovered by the FBI.
The very first group on this Muslim Brotherhood strategic plan was the Islamic Society of North America.
Despite ISNA's radical track record, President Obama delivered a video address at the group's annual summit this year.
Assalamu alaikum, and congratulations to Imam Majid and everyone at the Islamic Society of North America on your 50th annual convention.
One leading Egyptian newspaper recently claimed that the Brotherhood is stepping up its efforts to infiltrate the United States. It identified what it says are 30 Brotherhood operatives that are currently conducting influence operations on U.S. soil. Eric Stakelbeck, CBN News, Washington.
Up next, not your average gingerbread house. How one Wisconsin hotel is taking this seasonal tradition to new heights.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Well, this time of year, it's pretty common to see snow-covered roofs in the Midwest.
But one house in Wisconsin is covered with something a little bit sweeter. This 6-foot-tall gingerbread house, complete with a sugar-frosted roof, is on display at the Holiday Inn in Stevens Point. The structure cost a couple $1,000s and required a lot of help from hotel staff.
One of the hardest parts was moving it from where it was originally made into here. It's 550 pounds, maybe a little more.
We made what is called royal icing. That's all the white sugar.
This isn't the first time the hotel has tackled this project. Last year's gingerbread house stood at 4 feet.
Last year I said bigger and better, and they most definitely got bigger and better. It'll be better. I don't know how much bigger we can go.
Well, Michelle, currently the world record for the largest gingerbread house measures about the size of a 25-meter swimming pool. And that is a lot of gingerbread.
Shoot a little wink in her eye there. I think they're going to go for something bigger next year.
Yeah, it's got to keep the guests away from eating it.
Yes. That's all for this edition of NewsWatch.
Remember, you can email us your comments and questions at newswatch@cbn.com. Hope you'll join us next time.